Welcome to the Mortgage Broker Podcast, tailor-made for Canadian mortgage industry professionals. Proudly presented by A Better Way Mortgage Group, this podcast is your trusted source for insider insights, market updates, and strategies to elevate your career in the ever-evolving world of mortgage brokering. Whether you're a seasoned broker with A Better Way Mortgage Group or an industry enthusiast looking to stay ahead, our episodes are designed to empower you with the knowledge and tools you need to excel in the Canadian mortgage space. All right, we're back for another episode of the Mortgage Broker Podcast, and today we're continuing on with the Behind the Broker series. We're very fortunate to have Danny Duong, one of our top agents at A Better Way Mortgage Group on the mortgage architect side, with us today. We're going to dive into a whole lot of his career and, really what he brings to the table as one of the most supportive agents within our team, one of the most liked individuals within our team. So Danny, welcome to the show and thanks for joining us.
Thank you so much for having me today, guys.
Yeah, absolutely. So, starting there, Jason's with me as well today. Just want to get into, an introduction to who Danny is and your background and, what led you to start a career in the mortgage industry.
So my name is Danny Duong. I've been in the mortgage industry now for 19 years. Yes, flown by. Like most people, I didn't go to school thinking I'm going to become a mortgage broker. Honestly, just kind of fell into my lap as I progressed through school and then started working. Started out working in human resources. I actually went to school for human resources at SFU. Intended to work my way up through the corporate ladder in HR somehow, like in recruitment, industrial relations, employee relations, that side of the corporate world. But things kind of, just came to a point where I talked to one of my good friends. Most people know him in the industry, Vu Lee. Vu just mentioned to me one day, like, why don't you, think about coming to work in the mortgage field? And we had a conversation for almost a year before that happened. Long story short, I ended up starting as a mortgage specialist with TD Bank in 2006. Never turned back since then. Joined the broker channel in 2014.
Oh, wow. So you spent a good chunk of time at TD. Was that TD the entire time on the bank side?
Yeah, the entire time with the big green machine. So it was a great place to start, cut my teeth, so to speak, learn about mortgages. I honestly didn't know anything about mortgages at that time when I took on that role or was hired. I think, you do have to have the technical skills to excel in this role or this occupation. But a lot of it is just learning, being able to deal with people and having an open mind and learning and adapting. I was with TD. It was a great experience. I had some great mentors, great managers, great colleagues for 9+ years before I decided it was time to look elsewhere in the broker channel.
Did you kind of have like a defining moment when you're at TD where like, maybe there's something else out there and like this is the reason I wanted to start kind of moving towards the broker space?
Oh yeah, for sure. So around 2013, policies changed. Equity lending changed. B20, a lot of policy changes came into place and it made it more difficult to service customers. It was becoming very apparent that I wasn't able to give them what they needed. And I knew about other options outside of TD as well. And that was where I started to think, okay, I want to service these clients. I want to do what's best for them. So I started thinking, you know what? The only option now is to kind of explore outside of that current role at TD and go to the broker channel. There's more options with B lending, alternative lending, private lenders, whatever it may be.
Did it take you a while to make that transition, or were you like, nope, I want to go into it, and just right away you got going?
Oh yeah, there was some hesitation to begin with. Of course, being in that role for 9+ years, you feel comfortable, the policies of one lender inside out and the people you work with. I really enjoyed that, especially my manager at that time. I was like, darn, should I leave? What should I do? But, at the end of the day, I was always doing what's best for the clients. And so, I just made that decision, got licensed and didn't look back.
What was the biggest challenge in that transition, arriving in the channel and then, here we are, you got TD still in your, your back pocket as a channel lender, but just learning everything else and navigating that transition?
Funny things, just the littlest things, right? You start from day one or you get licensed and you're told, okay, you're good to go. Where do you start? Okay, I have to go get a laptop because, I had to return the one that the bank gave me. I have to start a website. I have to let my referral partners know. So right away, you're hitting the road like running, like, okay, what should I do? There's so much that I need to do. And you're an entrepreneur. Self-employed now, you kind of call the shots. You decide what you need to do in terms of marketing, how you want to set up with technology, all of that. So yeah, it was difficult at first, but you sort of sit back and think, okay, I'm going to break it down into bite size and tackle each one each week. And fortunately, yeah, I had contacts already in the broker channel, so they served as my mentors at that time to kind of know how to navigate the transition. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, having some support there is key. You know, here we are now, 2014 to 2025. You're, like you said, you're 19 years in the business. What motivates you to continue as a mortgage broker?
Oh gosh, every year's different, and you just have to go back to your why, right? Every once in a while I assess, is this what I'm still enjoying? Is my heart still in it? What is my why? And it always comes back to, of course, I want to earn a good living, supporting my family. Do I wake up motivated to do what I'm doing? I can truly say, being self-employed or just even as a mortgage specialist with TD, and more so as an independent broker for 10 plus years now, I never feel like I'm waking up, or I dread that Sunday night, oh God, it's Monday tomorrow. I don't have those feelings. I usually feel like, okay, what's on my agenda for tomorrow, this coming week? I generally look forward to doing that. Some things not as much as others, but in general, I don't have that Sunday dread. Oh God, it's Monday. I don't want to go to work. So that continues to motivate me, the lifestyle that it affords, the flexibility, but also just the rewarding aspect of this career. I help people. I feel good about it. Generally, the feedback has always been positive. Clients come back and they express, the success in helping them get a mortgage, how appreciative they are. And it's a great feeling. So that continues to motivate me and drive me.
Well, I think the Sunday scaries are something that a lot of people face, but this industry and these roles, I mean, you've had these types of roles for a long time now, and being able to create your own autonomy with schedule, I think that's probably one of the reasons why we may not feel that on Sundays. But then there's obviously that point of it, which you do a great job at, is just staying accountable, doing the tasks that you need to do, which I find that's the hardest part of a transition when somebody leaves a 9 to 5 as an example to come into this role. But what do you do to kind of stay on track? Do you have a schedule, or do you have checklists that you do throughout the day?
Well, because I've been doing this for 19 years now, things have changed dramatically, right? Up until this past year, I was still using a spreadsheet sort of to track my deals in progress, follow-up things that I have to do. I still use sticky notes, but I soon learned I got to adapt with the times. And so I started using Calendly, as incorporating more technology and a formal CRM, just basically staying on top of what's out there technology-wise and seeing if I could incorporate that to keep myself accountable and being more efficient too, right? Like in the past, where if I had to search up some rates or find out some solutions, it was digging through a file full of BDM feature sheets or rate sheets, things like that. But as we've progressed over the last few years, technology has changed. You go into Lender Spotlight or Discovery, and you look those up.
Yeah.
Much more efficient. Yeah.
Yeah. It's crazy, just what's available. And that can be overwhelming in its own sense too, just 'cause there's so much to tap into. And we'll touch on a little bit about, tools and those sorts of things. But I just want to touch on client relationships now. Mainly, like, what is your approach to building and maintaining such a strong client relationship?
I think for me, it's just being authentic and being myself when I'm talking to them. I try to put myself in their shoes. It's all about trust, right? When you're talking to someone, do I really trust what they're telling me? And the way things are now, customers come to us. They've already done their research about rates, what may be out there. They've talked to their neighbors, their colleagues at work. They kind of know the lay of the land in terms of mortgage and maybe have made up their mind a little bit. But when I first initiate conversation with them, it's just, okay, let me hear your situation. Let me find out what your needs are, and really trying to pinpoint what exactly is their pain point, and telling them and giving them advice as a friend, almost as a family member. Like, this is truthfully what I would do. If you come to me for a mortgage renewal, have you talked to your current lender? Like, if you haven't, talk to them, call them, find out what rate they're offering you. That's the first thing. And then come back and let me know what it is, and we'll discuss if that's your best option. If I feel that that's your best option, I'll be the first to tell you, just sign with them. That's the easiest thing to do. But if I feel, no, that rate's not quite competitive, or based on what you're telling me, you need to consolidate other debt, your plans for the next few years, I don't feel that just simply renewing with them makes most sense. And I'll give you your options. I'll lay it out, and then you can decide with my input if that's the best thing for you to do. So really just giving them authentic, genuine advice, and then being myself. They get to know me, what I'm like. Hopefully that resonates with them, and we maintain a long-term relationship, and it's not just transactional.
so many times people think they have to act a certain way or be a certain way to be successful in any type of business. And I always believe, like, if you're your authentic self, and I know you well enough now, you care about people, you care about the client overall, the way that you operate with the client's best interest in mind, I think the clients feel that, they know that, and that's what keeps them coming back to you, which is inevitably why you've been in the business for 19 years.
Yeah, I mean, you're clearly building trust right from the get-go, which is, priority number one. And, it's cool to see, like, not just your approach, but the top people that we talk to, whether it's in our brokerage, in the industry, or on this show, it's all very similar feedback, right? And so just reassuring for the most sense. And like going above and beyond that, like how do you ensure a smooth experience for all your clients? And I say that because there's so many bumps in the road in, doing a mortgage transaction.
Yeah. So, clients come to us and it's an overwhelming experience whether if they're buying a home, they don't necessarily know the process. So to ensure a smooth process, of course, explaining to them what to expect. If you're buying, here's what you can expect. Talk to your realtor, but let's get you pre-approved first. And then from there, once you know the numbers, then you here's what you do next. So giving them sort of a roadmap as to what they can expect gives them that comfort and eases that anxiety to begin with. And then I let them know also what I expect from them. If we're going to work together, this is kind of my SLA, service level agreement with you, how quickly I'll give you an answer, but here's what you need to do too. I need documents from you. I need you to complete an application for me. So it's a two-way street just to make sure that we know what to expect. And that, I think, ensures a smooth experience for the customer, but also that, everyone's not stressed out at the last minute.
Yeah, I mean, pointing out the challenges and where the potential bumps could come down the road is key.
I think for me personally as well, like I said, just my authentic self. I let them know if I don't know an answer. I don't have an answer to the question. I'll let them know, you know what, I don't know that. I'll find out. Give me till tomorrow. I'll find out for you.
I think one of the things that maybe gets overlooked or forgotten about, especially in the busy brokers, is that your clients get a mortgage 2, 3, 4 times in their life. We do this stuff all day, every day. So sure, they might not know the process as well as you do. So actually being able to stop yourself, recognize that, explain it, keep them comfortable, keep them apprised of potential roadblocks. And then that's you, to your point, controlling the conversation and controlling the flow of the expectations, where things could go, where problems could be. That's the stuff that keeps the clients coming back and satisfied and comfortable knowing that you have their best interest in mind.
For sure, 100% agree.
With all that said, can you share a memorable client success story that sticks out to you?
I think, 19 years, there's been quite a few different experiences. In terms of a specific transaction and the nitty-gritty of the deal, there's quite a wide range, but I would say that it's usually the ones that, it's not what you say or what you do. It's usually how you make the clients feel at the end of the day. You go to bat for them and you reassure them from the beginning that I've got your back. So for me, the ones that stand out are the ones that, at the end, they're so appreciative that, wow, you helped me. I knew it would be tough, but I really appreciate it, whether it's a text late at night or an email or, the follow-up phone call. They're like, I really appreciate your help. I think those always stand out. And I can still call some of them friends, right, after doing a transaction or refinance or whatever for them. I think back and I'm like, wow, yeah, they started as a client. Now they're just on my text message as a friend. Hey, I want to get the kids together for volleyball, grass volleyball, whatever it is. Those ones stand out for me. We built a long-term relationship.
This always seems to be the common theme. We do, a few of these interviews with brokers, of course, and it always seems to be the same as the clients turning into friends and becoming a part of the circle. And you don't get that if you're not going through that full process and really understanding, who you're working with, what they're about and all of that. So I could definitely see why that would feel like successful when you get them over the hump as to where they want to go or anything like that. So yeah, I mean, I could definitely see that fill in the bucket at the end of the day.
So shifting into personal development, maybe you can share, how do you maintain a healthy work-life balance, especially in this business where, things can get away from us?
That is the $1 million question. Oh, being in Vancouver, that's a $10 million question.
Yeah.
Maintaining the life and work balance. I honestly think that's pretty difficult to do. What I try to rephrase it is work-life harmony, right? Is the two kind of almost can blend together, but you get a balance somehow at the end of the week or the day. For me, it's making things work and being efficient. Like I'll drive my kids to their sporting events. Instead of taking the small car, I'll bring the minivan where I could set up a little table where I could do some work while they're, doing their activities, right? And just finding those moments to get back to people, whether it's stepping out to make a phone call while I'm out at a kid's activity or family time. Like for us, we want to be responsive to clients. And, if you're starting out as a new broker, it means working on the weekends or returning calls on Friday nights, whatever needs to be done, right? So I think you just kind of have to accept it in some ways, but make sure that there's some harmony in it. Yeah. Get your family time in while you're maybe getting a little bit of work done as well. So I think that is key for me. It's trying to just blend the two, have some harmony in it. And you can't always just say, I'm going to turn off my phone and not answer from 5 till 8 o'clock tomorrow morning or anything like that. It's difficult, but especially if you're a new broker, you want to respond to people and chase those potential leads, right?
If I have one takeaway already in this episode, work-life harmony, I haven't heard it put that way. I think it's great. I think we all try to strive for a work-life balance and you want 50-50, but is 50-50 even attainable? Sometimes it's going to be more weighted towards work. Sometimes it'll be more weighted towards personal. So if you can find harmony in whatever that discrepancy is, I mean, that's where you're going to keep happy.
Totally. Yeah, I really like that. I've never actually heard it that way. Hey everyone, Dean here. Quick timeout from the episode to share with you the ABW Tuesday Mortgage Memo, your weekly market highlights sent directly to your inbox every Tuesday. This is certainly one you're not going to want to miss, so make sure to sign up now. You can do so with a link in the show notes, or you can head to joinabw.ca and sign up there. This is a high-level summary of market developments, regulatory updates, and housing trends every Tuesday. So hope you enjoy it, and back to the show. So with that, what keeps you motivated and growing as a professional?
I'm pretty competitive. I come across as pretty chill, but I'm pretty competitive, whether it's sports or work. If it's not volume or anything like that, I still pride myself in terms of being a professional. So I learned this also through my kids' sports. Like I hear their coaches tell them, you don't have to be the MVP, you don't have to be the best player or whatever, but you have standards and strive every day to meet those standards. And those standards should be challenging, right? It should push you out of your comfort zone a little bit. So for me, I translate that to my professional life too. When I hear that from my kids' coaches, I'm like, yeah, what are my standards? So I try to stay on top of industry trends and what's happening policies by reading, right? Like whether it's Mortgage Logic news, listening to podcasts, doing some reading. I try to stay abreast of all the latest development and your guys' podcast. I've learned so much just listening to other successful brokers or industry people, always learning. I think that's important. You can't say, I've been doing this for X number of years, so I know it all. No, it's always changing. You got to learn. And we'll talk about this, I guess, with the BRM role. I learned from helping the new brokers. I was a little bit surprised when we started the process training some of the newer agents. I'm like, wow, I learned a lot. Just trying to explain something, right?
Yeah.
You take it for granted sometimes, yeah.
I mean, I was going to ask you like any books, podcasts that you would, recommend. You just mentioned a few and you touched on just the BRM role. And, we have a whole nother episode dedicated to that. That role itself shines a light on what you're willing to do for others, and we'll save the majority of that for the next show. But looking at that and how you're helping agents transition from, let's say, banker to broker, or have a softer landing spot when they transition into the industry, given that you went through that, back in 2014, you mentioned when you get into that type of a position, you're sharpening your tools because you have to learn it yourself to be that expert. Is there anything else that stands out that you're finding motivation from that role?
I always just internalize and think back, okay, in 2014, when I came out as a broker, what were my challenges? And I try to put myself in the shoes of a new broker and not take anything for granted, like, oh, they should already know that or something like that, and just have a really open mind and trying to help them. That's the biggest thing thinking back is, okay, let's take baby steps. And it depends on the broker too. If they're brand new to the industry, it's different from if they're coming from a different brokerage or from a bank, right? Yeah. So everyone's a little different, and try to just kind of listen and try to contribute to their growth in a way that is most efficient and productive for them.
Well, like I said, we'll save that and we'll dive deep into that shortly here. But one thing I wanted to ask you is just a key business impact. That could be whether it's your time as a mortgage broker or as a banker as well. But what's the biggest factor that's influenced your business and your success?
Wow. Okay. It's very simple. Just being consistent, right? Yeah. I find that you have to get up. You have to have a schedule, like Dustin says, suit up and show up. You come into the broker side, there's a lot more autonomy and you're self-employed, but you still need structure. So suit up and show up, as Dustin said, is key, right? Try to be in front of my computer at a specific time, and I have a routine, drop off my kids at school, be in front of the computer by 8:45, whatever that time is. For everyone's a little different, but have that consistency, have that structure, and have a plan every day what you're going to do. Like I said, everyone's maybe got a different business model and learning is different, but the consistency in doing it and showing up every day could make or break a new broker.
I think that's such an overlooked piece. Like mostly when you look for consistency, people are trying to find motivation, and it's motivation to do the hard things. And typically the hard things are the things that we need to do to move the needle in the business. And the hard things are the things that we don't want to do. Too many people, I think, focus on trying to find motivation to do that stuff rather than just focus on being consistent and being present, knowing that you have to set a task, knowing that you have to follow the task. Sure, it's great to have autonomy, but we need to make sure that we're structured, and day in, day out, call it Monday to Friday, you're chipping away at the tasks that you have to do. And I think you should look at consistency over motivation all day, every day. And if you stay consistent with the things you have to do, whatever that is, you will be successful in the direction that you want to go.
For sure. Yeah, consistency.
So this next segment is the tools, tips, and tactics. You've touched on a few just already throughout Lender Spotlight, Calendly, some tech tools. Is there any other you want to share that are essential to your daily work that could help other brokers?
More and more, I know the CRM is definitely key to any broker success, whether you're starting from day one as a brand new broker to 10, 15, 20 years into the business. Surprisingly, some brokers don't even have a CRM still.
Yeah.
And so I think having the CRM with Velocity, with the Gold Rush that was launched a little while ago, to me, it was eye-opening. Like some of the things that you could set on autopilot, birthday SMS, greetings, things like that. I found surprisingly, people started responding, texting me back saying thanks. Whereas previously, if it was set on an email, they don't necessarily respond. So just little things like that. But a CRM having something to stay in touch with your clients is such a game changer. I think from day one, start building it. If you're 20 years in, still look to refine it, still work that database. And if one database is not quite working for you, make sure you look at other options or explore, because how else are you going to stay top of mind and in touch with your clients as the years go by?
I couldn't agree more. I mean, the biggest piece that any broker in this industry should have is a CRM. And when we're associated with networks like the DLC group of companies, having that CRM built into your Velocity, that is its own gold rush. It's its own gold mine. And if you don't have that set up as a broker today, before the next busy season comes out, I would sit down and put pen to paper, figure out what CRM you're going to use. It's already built in for you if you're at the LCG. That is what you need to do and focus on first and foremost.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. So looking ahead, what are your goals for next year?
My goals are quite multifaceted, I guess, with, of course, continue to grow my brokering business. Personally, I think with all the changes and it being more difficult to win the A business, I think, I have to kind of pivot a little bit for myself, looking at maybe diversifying more into reverse mortgages or being more of a presence in that area, learning more about it and trying to grow that. The past 12 months, I've done a handful of reverse mortgage. I think if I focus more on that, could probably double that and just, grow exponentially, hopefully, in that area. But also just being more efficient, right? I think in every day we don't have so much time. I think being more efficient, so using more technology, utilizing my CRM a bit more to grow. And also with the BRM role, I want to dedicate more time in that. I've thoroughly enjoyed that. So it gives me a bit more of a, skip to my step, I guess you want to call that. Each day when I wake up, I'm like, I have a call with so-and-so at 10. It breaks up my day nicely. So looking ahead, I think just trying to grow in a variety of ways, I think is my goal for sure.
Yeah, I'd love to hear that. You mentioned just something there, like, focusing a bit more on reverse mortgages. And it's just back to, a point that we've heard a lot lately is just, the power of product knowledge and the power of, knowing what else is out there and where you could potentially help other clients is just, naturally going to grow, not just your confidence, but your ability to help others. With that, how do you see the mortgage industry evolving? And, how are you preparing for it? Maybe it's the same answer, but is there anything else that sticks out to you, just from how this industry continues to evolve?
Well, I'm not a guru, know-it-all. I still listen to your guys' podcasts and try to learn, try to pull bits and pieces from what I hear, listen, read, try to prepare myself and just be adaptable, right? I know rates and renewals with existing lenders, that business is getting tougher to win. So just being ready to compete. The pie is not getting any bigger, so you kind of have to be willing to compete and get a bit more of that pie that's not growing. So whether that means focusing on a niche, being educated on all the current trends and to try to gain some business, I think that's something that we all have to focus on going forward.
Yeah, I think the industry has just evolved so much, almost exponentially over the last 12 to 18 months, or maybe even a little bit longer than that, with, regulatory requirements, FinTrack, lender changes, policy, all that stuff. I think no more crucial time, I should say, than to know what's going on in that industry and educating yourself every single day on it and trying to stay up. And then as that pie that you're talking about, it's not getting that much bigger, right? But if you're having that knowledge and that wherewithal to figure out how to kind of navigate through that, that's what's going to keep you having the long-term success and continue the trend that you're on.
One more thing is AI, right? Like AI is changing a lot of how we do business. So from just using ChatGPT to help refine emails or whatever it is to be more efficient, definitely everyone's got to look at that. You can't say, no, I don't want to work with AI. You kind of have to adapt. So things like that going forward, I think is important for everyone to be aware of and just keep an open mind about, right?
Absolutely. Yeah. That's something that's just changing every day, right? So, it's a tougher question to address now is we don't know what's going to happen, right? And again, with how quickly technology and AI is moving, it's just something to stay on top of, right? And adapt as it comes.
Plus with what's happening in the US and tariffs, there's a lot of uncertainty. So I get calls from clients that ask, what do you think I should do? And like, well, there's a lot going on, geopolitical issues, there's tariffs, like I said, it all impacts us. And so to say, kind of pinpoint how our industry is evolving is quite tough, but I just try to stay on top of it by listening to podcasts, learning. And you can only give, so much advice and be an advisor with your clients, but help them make their own educated, decisions as well.
So just some closing thoughts. What's the best career advice you've ever received?
Best career advice. I think with the mortgage industry, everyone is at different stage. Like if you're a new broker, when I came out, the advice was make sure you have your finances in place. You're going to have to weather the storm a little bit for 6 months, a year. Make sure that's sort of in place. It's not easy, but if you work hard, you get over that hump. So have those baseline structures in place to help you grow. Don't be afraid to ask questions. Find a mentor. I think if you ask questions, there's a lot of good people in our industry that's willing to share to help you grow, and trust your instincts, right? When you talk to a brokerage, when you're trying to decide where to go, whichever brokerage it is, trust your instincts. You want to work with people that you can trust, that provides a bit of a roadmap to how you can grow. I think that's sort of the advice I think would resonate with new brokers. Just depends on which stage you're in with your career, I find. And reach out. Don't be afraid to pick up the phone and call people and introduce yourself. I think that's really key. Expanding your network, I think, is definitely going to help anyone who's coming into the mortgage industry.
Yeah, we say this time and time again. I mean, there's no shortage of people in this industry that you could reach out to, ask questions to. The amount of information out there is at the ready for you. And, the good ones are always willing to share. I sound like a broken record because I say that on a lot of podcasts, but it is very true. And there's so many good people in this industry. You're never alone. There's always people out there to willing to help. And to your point, I mean, I've always gone with that too. You just trust your gut. Your gut usually steers you in the right direction.
The last question I have is, you've been with Mortgage Architects in a Better Way for quite some time, one of the original Mortgage Architects, A Better Way brokers. Why did you choose A Better Way to begin with? And, what keeps you motivated to stay here and continue to grow with this team?
Well, I joined A Better Way in 2014, a bit more than 10 years ago now. So honestly, it was lender access. I wanted to be able to service all my clients well, and I knew that A Better Way provided that. The owner brokers at that time were very supportive, always putting our brokers' interests first, helping us grow our business. Since you guys have taken over, you've taken a good brokerage to being a great brokerage, excellent brokerage. I love it. It's family. Everyone here I talk to on a regular basis, whether it's through our Facebook group or just on the phone, everyone's willing to help each other. Of course, goes to without saying, you guys are great as our leaders. There's nothing else to say. You guys, it's like family. It's home. And I don't foresee that changing anytime soon.
I've had the pleasure of working with you when you were a broker. I was at Mortgage Architects, and I think even through some other channels in the past, and watching you take your business and your career to where you have has been great to see. But I think one thing that I'm like super proud of what you're doing now, and we'll get into this in the other episode in that BRM role, watching your leadership skills just completely change all for the better, and just really watching you morph into that role where you're becoming a go-to person for people, not only within our brokerage, but within the industry in general. That's been such a pleasure to see. And I'm very excited to continue to watch this path and watch you grow into that role, which I think you're going to be massively successful in.
Thank you. Appreciate those kind words. And the feeling's mutual. Like I said, when you guys took over, things have only skyrocketed. It's been amazing to see everything that you've done for our brokerage, technology, more lenders, and just continued support behind the scenes since taking on this role. And we'll talk more about it, I guess, on the other episode. But open my eyes. The things that you guys do behind the scenes is amazing.
Well, yeah, you've just been a breath of fresh air for us. It's been absolutely fantastic to partner with you and work with you. We talked a lot about the BRM and what that is, and we're about to jump into another episode to just explain, why we created the BRM role, which is a broker relationship manager role within a Better Way. It's a first of its kind in the industry within a brokerage. And we're going to touch on that, why we did it, how it's working. And, Chris Pugh is going to join us on the next episode as well, who's also participating in that rollout with us. So that's, the commercial, I guess you could say, for the next one. So definitely tune into the next episode because we're going to be going all in on that. For this one, that's essentially a wrap. And thank you so much for being here and taking the time to share with all our listeners.
Awesome. Thanks for your time, guys.
Thank you for tuning in. If you found value in this show, please subscribe to our channel on your preferred platform. We're available on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and YouTube. Your support is incredibly appreciated. We also welcome your reviews and feedback, which are crucial in helping us deliver outstanding educational content. Feel free to share your thoughts. A 5-star review would be fantastic if you think we earned it. Lastly, a vital announcement about Backpack Buddies, our chosen charity for 2025. This remarkable organization addresses a hidden hunger issue many are unaware of in British Columbia. While school districts provide meals during school hours, numerous children face food scarcity at home, particularly during the weekends. Backpack Buddies steps in to support these vulnerable children, ensuring they have easy to prepare, familiar food for weekends. This is achieved through collaborations with schools and an extensive distribution network. Your contribution can make a significant difference. With just $20, you can give a child in need a food bag from Backpack Buddies filled with enough meals and snacks to sustain them over the weekend and more. Once again, thank you for listening and see you on the next one.